I would like to say good afternoon. Thank everyone for joining. Um, I would like to thank everyone for attending from Milestones to Action. This webinar is actually an introduction to early steps. I am pleased to introduce my guest speaker, which is Miss Christine Lanier. So thank you, Miss Christine, for participating here today. Also, I have here Wallace Johnson. He is also assisting us today as well. And myself, I am China Guillory. I am the early childhood disability specialist for Families Helping Families now. And Wallace will give us the presentation today for LaCan. So go ahead, Wallace, and present for
Okay,
LaCan for us.
hopefully you're seeing the can slide on the screen.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what LACAN is, it's the Louisiana Council's Advocacy Network. And if you see in the screen where it says Melinda E. R5, that's the one that does, it's Melinda Elliott. She's the one that does it for the Region 5 area. And the Region 5 area of Louisiana is the Southwest Louisiana Lake Charles area. So this is includes the parishes of Allen, Beauregard, Calcasieu, Cameron, and Jeff Davis parishes. There may be others online tonight from other areas of the state. So if you don't know who your LACAN leader is, like Melinda Elliott for us, then we can help you figure that out. You can contact us and we'll help you get connected to your LACAN leader in your area. So what LACAN does, it's the Louisiana Council's Advocacy Network. That's what that stands for, LACAN. It's a statewide grassroots advocacy network, and its job is to link lawmakers, individuals with disabilities, and family members to make positive change in systems serving people with disabilities. LACAN advocates for policies and systems that support inclusion everywhere where people learn, work, live, and play. Advocates for systems that support children and adults with disabilities to live in their own homes and be fully included and participating members of their local schools and communities. So LACAN advocates for all of that. And LACAN also, the leaders, they provide a connection with a regional team of advocates to provide information on proposed policy changes and how these changes may affect you and others, and provide training skills to effectively advocate for systems change and support you to link you with policymakers. And the website for LACAN is simply www.lacanadvocates.org. And you could go there. It's free to join LACAN, free to sign up. And what you're going to get is from LACAN, you're going to get action alerts when they come out. And they'll come in the form of an email, and it'll tell you what's going on so that you can respond if you choose to respond, or you may want to share the information with someone so they can respond if you're not able to respond at that time. But right now we're on the LACAN Action Alert 6. So there's already been 6 that have gone out already. And you can join at any time. It's free. And you can do that by going to www.lacanadvocates.org. And we encourage you to get it since it's free information to share. We want you to be members of LACAN. We want you to find out what LACAN does. And they do throughout the year, they do different things. One of the things they do at least once a year usually is the legislative roundtable. That gives people a chance to connect with their policymakers and legislators. And it allows the legislators to hear our stories. People with disabilities and parents of children with disabilities get to tell their stories about what we're advocating for and what LaCan needs. And they also encourage legislative visits for people to visit their legislators, and we could help you with that so you can meet your legislator and work on things. And like I mentioned before, they do information and action alerts. They also have yellow shirt days at certain days where they go to the Capitol to meet with our legislatures and to share information on the council's legislative agenda. The LaCan members and the council come together and they do a legislative agenda. Well, it's those things that people are asked to support that help people with disabilities and their family members, or what we're working on to improve as members of LaCan, the developmental disability system in Louisiana. So, all right. So that's it with LaCan. And now we'll go on to our presentation.
Okay, I'm excited to do this because I'm nervous because I've never done this, but I'm excited because I love EarlySteps. I've been a family support coordinator since about 2018. I was a teacher before that and a mom of seven before that. Still a mom of seven, but they're all grown up. EarlySteps is an early intervention program that provides services and support to families with infants and toddlers from birth through age 2. It's actually you age out of EarlySteps the day before the third birthday. So it's through 2, and who have a medical condition likely to result in a developmental delay or who have developmental delays. Okay. Next, who is eligible for EarlySteps? It's a child from birth to 2 years and 10 months can come into EarlySteps to begin the intake process. And as I said, a child in EarlySteps ages out on the day before their third birthday. To qualify, they must live in Louisiana, or they must have a diagnosed medical condition that has a high probability of resulting in developmental delay, or they're experiencing developmental delays, and they'll have an evaluation called the day C2 that will tell us if they have to have 2 areas of developmental delays. The areas that this evaluation test are physical, looking at gross and fine motor skills, the running, the using their little fingers, cognitive, which is problem solving, reasoning, understanding, social emotional, that's the way they interact with people and take care of their own emotions. Adaptive is their daily skills, self-care, and communication, which includes receptive and expressive language skills. So it's how it combines how they're expressing themselves and how they're understanding others. Okay. All right, something else that's offered at the evaluation is the MChat. It's a screening for autism spectrum disorder. Your doctor's office may have that too and offer that also. This is not a diagnosis. It just says that, hey, there's some things that here that may point that a child is at risk for autism. It's not a diagnosis. The MChat is offered to children 16 months to 30 months at the time of evaluation, and they can only have it once during their time in EarlySteps. If the child scores at risk, the evaluator will give the family a paper that they can take to their doctor if they choose, and then they can discuss a next step, possibly a referral for an autism evaluation. Family cost participation. Okay, so they have changed it at one point. They came up with family cost participation, and that just means that a family may share in paying for the expenses associated with EarlySteps. This is for families that do not have Medicaid, At this time, Early Steps does not bill insurance. So there's a sliding scale based on the family's income and how many people are in the family. And they decide from that what your share would be for services, anywhere from zero to full cost. Um, every month, even if you have Medicaid and you do not have a family cost, you will get an explanation of benefits. It's a EOB, and it will tell the services that your child had received. And that's good for you to check and be able to tell um, what if you've had those services. It's a good check and balance system. But and if you do have a cost, it will have that cost. Okay. Early Steps system is designed to support families regarding their child's development through, and the way we do that is we want to help you, support you, um, to help your child develop and learn. Um, Kind of like if you have a stool, it takes 3 legs or 4 legs to be a good support for that stool. The more support they have, the better they do. We want to assist you with understanding your rights that Early Steps has set forth, and to assist families in communicating their child's specific needs. Also, to determine a family's concerns, priorities, and resources regarding their child's special needs. The first goal we talked about assisting families in helping their child develop and learn. To meet this goal, your child's team, which includes you, will design supports to address the needs of your child and family to include one or more of the following as needed. Okay, so these are services that Early Steps provides. Not everything on this list is available at this time in this area, but this is the goal. And we have many services in place um, to assist you. I think we have support coordination, which is me. We have physical therapist, occupational therapist, special instructors. We have behavioral consultants, speech language pathologist. We have things we don't have in this area transportation. As far as from Early Steps, I was looking through here. We do have nutritionists. We have lots of people that want to help you and your family and support you with helping your child succeed. Okay, so the second goal was about your rights. You have many rights in Early Steps. These are the 5 that will be mentioned to you and discussed at every meeting because we want you to be very familiar with these rights. You have the right to written prior notice. You have the right to written informed parental consent. You have the right to confidentiality of information. You have the right to review records. You have the right to resolve disputes. If you're not happy with something, we want you to be happy. And you have a right to a surrogate parent. And we'll get into these just a little bit deeper in the next slide, I think. Okay, written prior notice. This is, we give you a notice of action when we're making any changes from what we have set up in the child's plan. If we're going to evaluate your child, if we're going to change where services are happening, such as daycare or home, or whether we're changing from a speech therapist to a special instructor, or if we're just changing 2 times a month to 4 times a month. If we're making any of those changes, we will give you a written notice and of at least 3 days before any of those changes are made, and they will not be made without your input. Nothing can be changed or proposed until it's given to you in writing before it happens. A consent. This means that you will have all the information that you need. I know the slide has a lot of language and I'm just kind of telling you, but you can read as I'm talking. We will have the information in your native language. We have translators. That's another thing of those supports we have. If your native language is not English. Um, so we will speak with you and have meetings with the translator there. Um, we will have consents in writing. You will sign those consents, and those consents are good for 1 year, but they can be revoked by you at any time. For example, if you say that, doctor, you give us a consent for Dr. Jones, but you change to Dr. Miller, we can shred that consent for Jones and go with the Dr. Miller. It's all voluntary, and we will always have a consent before we do anything or release any records or information. Confidentiality. Everything is protected. The name of your child, people in your family, your address. They used to ask for social security numbers. We don't do that anymore. Um, Anything about your family that would be considered personal or they would know who you are or your child is, we do not share without your consent, your written consent. Examination of records. You have the right to review your records. If you ask for records, we will give it to you no later than 10 days. Um, Copies of this information are provided to you at no cost. Every time we have a meeting, we will give you copies by email or mail, whichever you request. And if you ever need um, like the whole file, the SPO in New Iberia for our region, we can get with them and request those, and they will get you that file. You have the right to dispute resolution. There are 3 ways to go about it. There's a complaint process. Hopefully that any problem that a parent would have or concern, you would talk to your family support coordinator, and hopefully it would be an easy fix that we could just, handle things there. And like I said, our goal is for your family to have the best experience possible with EarlySteps. That means a lot to us, and we want to be a helpful support to you. And if that can't happen, we have a regional coordinator that you can contact. They have the process of mediation. We're a neutral party where we can discuss, it can be discussed and heard. And then there's due process hearing, an administrative hearing where an impartial trained hearing officer presides over presentation of a complaint and decides how to resolve it. I've been here in a family support coordinator since 2018, and I have not had to take those steps. So, it's rare, but it's there if a parent needs it. The right of a child to a surrogate parent. This is not just grandma's going to do it today for me. This is when no parent can be identified, a parent cannot be located for a period of time, or the child is a ward of the state of Louisiana. In these situations, according to the laws of Louisiana, the lead agency might assign someone to act as a surrogate parent. They would represent the child in EarlySteps, and they can have no personal or professional interest that conflicts with the child's interest and has the knowledge and skills they need to represent the child. So, if mom is working and we have you know, a relative or a babysitter that we have a consent for, that we can have gotten a consent from mom and dad, that is not a surrogate parent, but this is a more extreme situation. Okay, goal 3, to help families effectively communicate their child's needs. A main focus for early intervention is to meet the needs of your child and family. To accomplish this, you're asked to participate as a team member with others in the early intervention system. Okay, I don't know if I say this in a different slide, but as the parent, you are the most important member of this team because you are the expert on little Johnny or little Sue, or you're the expert. We recognize that. And you're the one that's with them all the time, and we need you on this team and for it to be successful. As a team member, you will participate in the development of the service plan designed to meet your child and family needs. The individualized family service plan is all what we call the IFSP for short. If you've ever had a child that is in school, it's kind of like the IEP. That it's just the plan on how we're going to help and support your family. As a team member, you will identify your concerns, priorities, and resources regarding your child and family through a family assessment we call the CPR. We will ask you questions about the child's daily routine, um, how they're doing in different areas, such as feeding time, getting dressed, playing with others, playing outside, going shopping, all of these areas, and just kind of see how your child handles the day. Okay, the IFSP, the Family Service Plan. Each child and their family will have one developed within 45 days of coming into the SPO, which is the system point of entry. That's that intake that I talked about, that a child can come in anywhere up to 60 days before their third birthday. The IFSP must be developed jointly by the family and appropriately qualified personnel involved in the provision of early intervention services. That's your team. That's the intake coordinator, the family support coordinator, you, anybody the family would like to invite to a meeting, they can. Um, and it's based on the evaluation and assessment of the child, the CPR that the family gave us with their concerns, and who and what the team thinks would best benefit the child. For instance, if your child is not talking and a speech language pathologist would best suit that. We would incorporate that into the plan. You can go to the next one. Or did you? Okay. I think, okay. The IFSP must, wait. Okay, that one was good. We did that one. Did we skip one? There, there it is. Okay. The IFSP must be developed at a meeting, be reviewed every 6 months or more if needed. There's been some changes in how we meet with EarlySteps. We have 2 meetings a year now instead of quarterly meetings. But there's every 6 months and at the annual. But we can have a revision anytime anything needs to be changed in that IFSP. It is a legal document that lasts a year, but it can be modified and changed within along the way as needed to meet the needs of the child. Be evaluated and revised at an annual meeting. Follow a standard format designed by EarlySteps that has required components. Address transition of a child at age 3 or at exit, and obtain a parent's consent before being conducted or before services are provided. Okay, the team, the parent or guardian of the child. And when I say parent, I mean guardian. It doesn't necessarily have to be the parent. Other family members as requested by the family. An advocate or person outside of the family if requested by the parents. Um, Daycare worker, if you want your child's daycare teacher to come, or their babysitter, that's all up to the family. The intake coordinator will be at the initial, and at the initial, the family support coordinator will be there. I was going to say me, but it's obviously not going to be me for everybody. Um, and at that initial, the intake coordinator, who has done everything involved with getting you qualified and in the program, will hand the family over to the ongoing family support coordinator. Um, Also, you will have the person that did the evaluation there. And at initial, you won't yet have the people providing the services. The people will be chosen at the initial. Things have kind of changed, but at the meetings with your family support coordinator, the ones providing the services will be invited, and will do their best to attend. The EarlySteps early intervention consultant may also participate in the meeting, either in person or review of information. Um, I've had a time where they came to my meeting. They're there if we need them. Next slide. Okay, we've talked about the CPR. Um, the concerns, priorities, and resources. Families of all children eligible for EarlySteps are offered the opportunity to identify their needs through this family-directed assessment called the CPR. In the intake part, the evaluator does that CPR with the family. In the ongoing support, when it's almost time to be evaluated again, your family support coordinator does that with you, asking you questions about all those aspects of the daily routines I mentioned before. And the last page of that, I ask about your concerns. What do you want EarlySteps to support you and your family with your child? What are your biggest concerns? Um, that's what the last page is about. And going through that CPR kind of helps parents and family support coordinator to identify some things that maybe hadn't even been thought of, but that are going on in the day, to come up with ways. And if there's things that you don't come up with it on that day, we can always, at the annual, would add to the concerns, or you can call and say, hey, I thought about this. I didn't think about it before. It's okay. Um, we're very fluid with that kind of thing. Oh, okay, go ahead. That's good. Outcomes. The outcomes are in the IFSP to tell what we're going to be working on, what mom wants to see happen with the child. We got those from the CPR, like I talked about before. We worked together as a team to develop outcomes. and look at all the alternatives. Once an outcome has been written for the IFSP, it is necessary to identify the strategies and activities that will support the achievement of the outcome and each team's member's role in supporting the outcome. Strategies and activities are built upon the routines of the family in the natural environment. Um, Family priority. We want our child to use words instead of crying when he wants something. That might be something a family would say to me during a CPR. And so we would make an outcome for that. We would say something like, Daniel will use words, signs, or gestures to let his family know what he wants and needs. On that outcome page, we're going to ask, well, what's happening now? And mom will tell me, or whoever's at the meeting will tell me what's happening now. He gets very upset and cries until we figure out what he wants. So our team, and then it'll have a section of how do we know this goal is met. Our team will be satisfied that we are finished with this outcome when he is using 10 different words, signs, or gestures to communicate his wants and needs throughout the day. When I'm asking what is happening now, I might ask, is he pointing? Because pointing is communication. And especially if mom says no, we want to include that in our outcome because pointing can help get to words. Signs can help get to words. Um, and they can reduce frustration in the child, which causes them to be very upset and cry. So we would add those. Okay, so strategies: point and name frequently used objects throughout the day. Use consistent names for objects. If you call it a sippy cup, make sure dad, brothers, and sisters call it a sippy cup. Narrate your day. Sing songs with rhyming words. Point and name pictures in books, and always give lots of praise. That's just an example of an IFSP outcome. I want to say too that I didn't have a slide for this, but your outcomes could also be family goals, like the family would like more information on um, how to receive daycare assistance or childcare assistance. And that would be a little different, but that would be a family goal, and we would do the same thing. Um, When should I make changes to the IFSP? You have the right to request an IFSP team meeting at any time. They'll be held at least twice a year, every 6 months. So you can request a meeting if your child is not making progress after several months of service. We want to give it some time. Um, we check with, I know we don't have meetings, it sounds like a long way, 6 months to 6 months, but know that your family support coordinator is going to contact you every month to ask how things are going, how services are going. Are you seeing any progress? Do you have any questions or concerns? And you don't have to wait to hear from your family support coordinator because you can call or text them anytime. Hey, I'm worried about this. I'm not seeing this. So there's ongoing communication. It's not like 6 months. We're gonna, you're not gonna hear from us for 6 more months. But that's just formal meetings that have to be held in the home or the child's natural environment, a library, daycare, the park, somewhere like that. And those are at 6 months and at the annual. Every quarter we want to at least see your face. It's not a formal meeting, but if you want us to do that monthly contact at your home, we can, or if you want us to do that monthly contact via Zoom. But we want to see you face to face. It's not formal meetings anymore quarterly, but with all the paperwork and such. But we will be you'll be hearing from us monthly. If your family feels overwhelmed with the amount of service, or you think you need more, maybe you're like, he's doing great. I don't think we need every week anymore. That would be a change, a reason to have a meeting. Or maybe you think, I have an OT, but he's still not speaking. I'd like to add a speech language pathologist to the plan. We would have a meeting for that. If your child has made progress and does not need as many services, that's basically what I just said, or completed their outcomes, new ones will be addressed. So let's say, hey, they met their goal. We need to write new goals. That's a great reason to have a meeting. So we'll have a meeting and address your new concerns and goals. Parents' roles as responsibilities as a team member. As a parent, your responsibilities are, of course, to participate in the IFSP process. We need you on the team. You're the expert on your child. We want to work with you. We want to support you in the best way we can. And us having good communication as a team with your providers is very important. Participate with your service providers to plan and carry out activities with your child and share your knowledge and observations with them. One thing I want to say here is that EarlySteps is a coaching model, not a therapy model. This therapist or provider may be able to come in your home every week or once a month or twice a month, but they're there to help you with other ways you can work with your child the other 20 something days of the month that our providers can't be with you. So that's why it's referred to as a coaching model, not a therapy model. We want to empower you to be able to help your child and support you. And we need you to empower and support us by telling us what's happening at home, what you're seeing. That's one of the things that the family support coordinator will ask you about when they call. What are you seeing? What's he doing? How's he do when you try this or things like that? Schedule your visits during times that are best for your child and family. Be present and actively participate in all visits. It's not like, oh, you're here, I'm going to go, um, do dishes or something else. Not that you would do that, but you would think that it's okay because they're coming to have your child for an hour. Once again, they're coming to show you ways to work with your child. And if siblings are home, you can get them involved because they can work with little brother or little sister too. And sometimes um, babies receive better from their siblings and they want to do what their siblings are doing. So that's a big help, especially I find like with using utensils and things like that, that are sometimes goals for kids. Um, be on time for scheduled appointments and notify your service provider as soon as possible if you're unable to keep the appointment. Provide reasonable notice if you need to cancel or reschedule a visit. This is important because your provider has kids all day and they've made schedules and slots and they're running on this and if they don't come see you, then they don't get paid either. But some people don't realize that. But try to schedule where y'all can be best effective for your child by being able to both be there at that time. Write down any questions you may have and be prepared to discuss what has happened since your last visit. So it's just like going to the doctor. If we don't write down those questions, sometimes we forget in everything going on what we wanted to ask. So keep a little notebook, write it down, and let that provider know how her suggestions or his suggestions went um, since the last visit. What worked, what didn't. That way they can modify things for you. Okay. Ask to be shown anything you don't completely understand and practice strategies together during the visit. While you have them there, try it and y'all can see if there's maybe some tweaking that can be done. Um, Review the monthly family cost explanation of benefits. And if you have a cost, send that in. I will say this, sometimes it takes a while for that to get started. So if you have family costs, so you may not see it the first month or even the second month. Sometimes it takes a bit to get rolling. They won't expect you to just pay that lump at one time, but sometimes it does take a minute. Review and sign each provider contact note for each session. These verify your participation and then that the provider conducted the session. They should have a contact note for you. If the child is seen at daycare, they should have a contact note left for you at daycare or send you a picture of the contact note and be talking with text and updating you as needed. So let your family support coordinator know if it's not going like that or if you haven't heard from your provider if they're going to daycare. Um, be open and honest with your service providers. Don't be afraid to ask questions or tell the service provider if something is not going well. They want it to go well almost as much as you do, if not as much. So they want to know how they can fix it to better serve you. Use the strategies throughout the day with your child and make notes of what's working, what is not. Participate in early steps activities such as the State Interagency Coordinating Council, SICC, and the RICC, which is the regional one. These are meetings that I attend, that you can attend, that tell things that are going on throughout the state, changes that are coming. We have a lot of changes coming, always trying to make it better for families and everybody involved. Okay, goal 4, to have a successful transition out of early steps when it's time to exit. Okay, we call it aging out. It's when a child exits the day before their third birthday. That is, if a child stays in the whole time, that's what happens. When your child is no longer eligible medically, most medical diagnoses stay with the child the whole time they're in early steps. So that means they would always qualify medically. There is only a couple. It used to be cleft palate. Once a child had the surgery, they were no longer eligible medically the next year for that, but it's changed because speech issues from that can follow a child a little bit till they get all caught up. And so there are only a few medical diagnoses that won't carry the child through. Another way that it can come to an end with early steps is if your child is no longer eligible developmentally. They don't have a medical diagnosis that qualifies them. And it's really a good problem because that means they did not have 2 areas of significant delay. It doesn't mean that they might not have some areas of delay, but to qualify, they have to have a significant delay, 2 areas. So, prematurity was the other one I was trying to think of to tell you about that medically prematurity when they're under a year, qualifies them automatically. When they're over a year, they have to have 1 area of significant delay to still continue in early steps with their prematurity diagnosis. And when they're 2, they have to have 2 areas of delay like all the other babies. So that was another one. Another way to exit from early steps is if you relocate out of state Or there may be other reasons. You just don't feel, you're not worried anymore. You don't feel the need. But every state has an early intervention program, and they're not all early steps, but we can help connect you if you're relocating so that you can check with them when you get to where you're going. Okay, so to have a successful transition, also intake and family support coordinators discuss transition at every IFSP meeting. Even the first one, yes. Any meeting we have, we're going to talk to you about transition. We're going to especially get a little deeper as it gets older, as the baby gets older. Um, when this child is 2 years, 2 months, we'll, with your permission and written consent, we'll let the school system know that your child is coming around the corner. Because if you decide, if you consent, the school system will evaluate your child. And if they have one area of delay, they will offer services when starting with their third birthday, where Early Steps leaves off the day before. So, also, we'll talk to you about Imperial Calcasieu Human Services Authority because of the Medicaid waiver registry that parents have a choice to join, to connect to and register with at intake and re-offered at annuals. We'll talk to you about what your plans might be. Did you plan Head Start? Did you plan maybe Mother's Day out? Did you plan to have them home? Are they going to be in daycare? The school system will go to daycares if the daycares allow. The school system does not go into homes. So we'll have a transition conference before you age out of early steps. We'll invite the school system representative to come, and they will answer all your questions. They do their services either at a school that's close to the family or a library, somewhere like that. They used to go in homes like Early Steps, but they don't anymore. Okay, the family support coordinator. That's what I do, support coordination. Um, this is this is where I am going to tell you, I'm reading this, okay, about all the rights and everything. I will always be speaking to you on that. I will always send you a copy of that when we have a team meeting notice sent out. I work with agencies. We work with agencies enrolled with Early Steps. We have backgrounds in human service related areas and defined responsibilities with Early Steps. So, family support coordinators have degrees. I have a teaching degree and some family and consumer science classes. You can have, there's other degrees that you must have that would qualify you to do this job. Our responsibilities, I'm sorry, to provide ongoing support for as long as the child is eligible for Part C services. That's what we are, Part C. The school system is Part B, but we're called Part C. And we coordinate ongoing evaluations and assessments of the child and the family's needs. Okay. Whew. Okay. For this one, I'm going to put on some glasses. Okay. I thought was getting away with not having to. All right. Um, we coordinate the provision of early intervention services. We consult with other service providers and representatives from community agencies to ensure the effective provision of services and to make sure IFSP services are being provided. We're going to make sure that you know your rights, and we're going to collect your financial information when it's time for an annual review. We're going to arrange at your convenience and conduct team meetings. Um, understand and effectively represent the best practice guidelines as developed by a committee of the SICC. We facilitate the development of the transition plan to enter the child into appropriate community services when the child reaches age 3, and refer the child to the local education agency, the school system, for services after early steps. We review the IFSP with the family. Well, quarterly, it says, every 6 months, annually, and on an as-needed basis when requested by the family. And we assist the family in accessing other services. Um, just like we talked about, maybe the family wanted to know about the CCAP program for the child care help, or I might send connect a family to Families Helping Families because of the resources they have and the webinars. I'll send a webinar from Families Helping Families to my families. If I think our events they put on, such as the Easter um, stop and hop that they had. Um, if you need resources, utility help, I'll connect you with the resources I have about that. Um, we, it's like a case manager, but we are trying to keep everything flowing once again to help your child and you have the best possible experience and the most support we can give you. The goal is to get this little guy or girl um, as far as they can go before they enter the school system or whatever you choose to do at age 3. Okay, provider roles and responsibilities. Early steps enrolled providers are trained and credentialed in their specialty areas. They have defined responsibilities with your family to educate and involve parents on strategies and skills which the child needs to accomplish an outcome. They'll assess and evaluate a child per request from an FSC. It's let's say that a child might be showing some signs of maybe needing occupational therapy, but we're just not sure. I can have an occupational therapist evaluate and assess, and if they may say, I don't think that this child would benefit from occupational therapy, or I think mom just needs a few strategies and they'll give them to mom, or they'll say, yes, I think this child would benefit, and we can add an OT to the plan. Providing ongoing supports and services in accordance with the IFSP, consult with parents and other providers to ensure the effective provision of supports and services. I'm going to be looking at contact notes from the providers. I'm going to be speaking with mom at least monthly or the family at least monthly um, so that I have all the pieces to make sure that things are going well with services. And we always want the families to feel comfortable and free to reach out to us. Um, the provider's going to attend to the best of their ability to attend IFSP meetings in person or phone or by written report. They're going to upload their contact notes to Early Steps Online by the 10th of the next month and provide contact notes to the family. These require the family's signature. So I'll be looking on Early Steps Online and accessing as the family support coordinator, and you will have those as well. What should your Early Steps services look like? And this is where I had said before, it's a coaching model, not a therapy model. Example, the service provider meets the family at the grocery store and helps mom by showing how to seat the child in the cart for good support, encouraging mom to talk to the child while shopping. It's such an opportunity. Sometimes as a mom, I know having 7, getting through the grocery store and leaving with as many children as I went in with was the priority, but I also homeschooled and found out that if I just take a minute and breathe, there's so many teachable moments at the grocery store. Talking about the color of food, shapes, labels, smells, um, asking the child about their likes and dislikes. Is it good? Does it smell good or does it smell bad or yucky? Um, all kinds, unlimited. This visit at the store can help the child to strengthen upper body muscles and learn new words. So it's that core support to sit in the buggy. So tummy time at home helps with that. Also, and it teaches mom how to continue working with the child in her regular shopping routine. Early Steps does not want to give mom and the family more things to do. Like I said, we don't want to complicate your life with more. We want to support you. So the things you're already doing, going to the store, going to the park, things you're already doing in your day, we want to show you and help you see ways to incorporate strategies into what you're already doing. You're giving them a bath, you know, name and point to body parts. Where's your eyes? Where's your, let's wash your hands. Let's wash your, brush your teeth. Um, Life is full, everyday life is full of teachable moments. Example 2, the service provider works with the toddler and child care provider at the child care center by arriving during lunch or snack time to work on feeding skills, including other children in the class as well as the child care provider in the activities, and using classroom toys and sessions. Um, that's important when a provider goes in your home. They're going to use things you have there. They're not going to use things that make you feel like you have to go purchase something. There's ways to work with all kinds of things you have at home. How this helps. This visit to the child care center helps with the child's feeding skills and helps promote the child's social interactions in their everyday life. This also provides the support the child care provider needs to continue practicing skills daily. If your child is having trouble being kind at daycare, maybe sharing, or maybe they're getting aggressive, that provider can sit on the floor with the other children and your child and model sharing and turn taking. And that's also something you can do at home with siblings or when cousins or friends visit. Just get on the floor like you're one of those children and play. And you can model it that way. Okay. I think, let's see. This is just what we've talked about before, getting the most out of services, working on things that they show you to do because it's repetitive and repetition really helps. And next, okay, this is more all the roles we talked about. This is the SICC. There's a website where you can find out about that. And this is the RSCC, which is the regional meeting. And I'm sure they're going to send out the PowerPoint so that you'll have all this information. I know it was a lot of information. Here's who do I contact. If you have questions, you're going to contact your family support coordinator. Scheduling a meeting, family support coordinator. Resources in the community, your family support coordinator, and I'm going to connect you with places like Families Helping Families. And about disabilities or developmental needs, the same. We will get you the resources we need. Okay. We've talked about all these things. And I um, hope it was informative. I know there's been some changes. And that's all.
Oh, I'm sorry. So thank you, Miss Christine. Do y'all have any questions for her? I did not see any in the chat, but do y'all have any questions? This would be the time to ask them. Okay. All right. Well, I don't see any questions in the chat. Thank you, Miss Christine, for all the good information. I really, truly do appreciate it. And I thank all the families for attending this afternoon. I really and truly do appreciate y'all coming and participating with us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yes. I so do appreciate it. You
I
did a
can get to
terrific
talking and
job.
not about it and not stop. I start getting on the roll and get excited, but
Well, you did a wonderful job. You really and truly did.
thank you.
I'm sure the information will be so useful to our parents. And like I said, I know that we didn't have any questions in the chat. But if y'all have any questions that y'all may think of later, y'all can always send that information to me or to Wallace, or you can definitely give us a call at our office or shoot us an email. We will definitely get those questions answered for y'all. If we don't know the answer, I promise you one of us in the office will know the answer, or we can get those questions answered for you. I would like to thank Miss Christine. I would like to thank Wallace for assisting us as well. Thank you, Wallace. And Wallace will definitely be sending out all of the information. He will be sending out the PowerPoint. He will be sending out the survey link as well, and certificates to anyone that needs them at the end of our webinar. And as I stated, I appreciate everyone that took time out of your day to participate with us in this webinar. I hope to see y'all on our next webinar. We have a listing of all our webinars posted on our website and our Facebook page. So if y'all need that listing, please go there to see. We have a lot of interesting webinars coming up this month and next month as well. So please check those out. And do your surveys. We get brownie points, like Miss Melinda always say. We get brownie points for doing surveys. So thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we hope to see y'all soon. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Bye. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your evening and the rest of your week. Bye-bye.